I have now completed 6 repeats of the cable pattern, and this is what my little cup cozy looks like. So it's identical to the brown one. And I have knit to the middle of the back, which is the beginning of round, and it's now time to do the I-cord bind off. I-cord bind off is gonna be similar to the I-cord cast on, with just an extra little step in there, which is gonna ensure that we are gradually binding off the stitches from our needle. To be able to start an I-cord, we have to create an extra 2 stitches, because the I-cord itself consists of 3 stitches that's gonna close around each other to form this little tube. So for the bind off, we start by creating 2 extra stitches at the beginning here using the cable cast on method. A cable cast on is super easy. It's also a very flexible and beautiful looking cast on, and you can do this with any number of stitches, not just for a I-cord extra stitches, or when you pick up stitches for underarms of sweaters, you can just do a cable cast on for an entirety of a project as well. To do a cable cast on, you will need 2 stitches cast on with any method, and then you start it. For this particular tutorial now, for the I-cord, we already have stitches, so we don't have to worry about that. What you do for a cable cast on is you insert your needle in between your first and your second stitch and go through it all the way to the back, and then you're gonna pull your working yarn through, and then you're gonna loop it onto your needle and pull. That created a stitch. And then you're gonna go in between this newly created stitch and your first stitch once again, and you pull up a loop and put it on your needle. This is it. 2 stitches cast on using the cable cast on method, as simply as that. Now the I-cord is going to start the same way as a normal I-cord for the cast on, or when you're just doing an I-cord for whatever other reason. You're gonna start knitting. So we're knitting the first 2 stitches. And now, instead of just knitting the 3rd stitch, we have to make sure that we're binding off a stitch with every round of I-cord. And to do that, we're gonna knit this first one and this second one together, but we're gonna do that through the back loop. So we knit these 2 together through the back loop. And now, we're gonna place these 3 stitches back onto the left needle, just like when we were doing our I-cord cast on. So the steps for the I-cord bind off is knit, knit, knit 2 together through the back loop, place the 3 stitches back onto the left needle, and start the cycle all over again. Knit 1, knit another one, knit 2 stitches together through the back loop, place 3 stitches back to the left needle, and you can already see the little cord forming. The bind off is going to be slightly stretchier and slightly looser than the cast on, which in our case is perfect, because a cup is usually getting a little bit wider towards the top. So this gives you the extra stretch that the cup cozy needs towards the top, without needing to increase your stitches. So I'm going to do this a few more times. You can also see that when you get to your, so if you ever confused how many you did, you won't be, because there's a massive gap here between your start and the end of your round. But there is also going to be always a gap between your I-cord and your actual work. So that's how you know which 2 stitches to knit together through the back loop. It's also the ones with the gap in the middle. So that kind of closes that gap as well, very nicely and neatly. And it will also always tells you where you have to do the decrease. Here we go. I'm going to do another couple, so that we can reach the end of this needle, and then I'm going to show you what to do when you're doing a magic loop and you get to the end of your stitches. So we're doing these last couple. As you can see, it's fairly fast going. It uses quite a lot of yarn, because you're basically doing three rounds worth of stitches with just the one round. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And here's the last, no, sorry, it's only the next to last, apologies. And the last one. 1, 2, 3. So now I'm just gonna turn it around and do the magic loopy thing. Sorry, that was a bit premature of me, because first I should have actually put back the stitches to my left needle. Yeah, so when you get to the last stitches, just make sure that you still move them back to your left needle as normal. And then we're gonna do the magic loopy thing, which means you just pull this out all the way, so that way your I-cord is gonna join the working stitches, and you just push this back, pull this out. So we just turn, and we're just gonna carry on the pattern side. Now we discussed on, bind off. I will join you when I reached the back, and then I'm gonna show you the joining of the two ends of the I-cord with the graft. I have arrived to the back, so this is my last live stitch, and this is the end of my I-cord. So I'm gonna do one more of what we have already seen. Knit one, knit a second one, and knit two together. So this is all stitches now bound off, and I just have one more thing left to do to kind of finish the I-cord, and that will be putting these back one last time to my left needle, and then I'm going to knit them together through the back loop. Here we go. And then this is us essentially for I-cord. I pull this so it doesn't untangle. I'm gonna get my trusty little scissors, and I'm gonna leave a long enough tail so that we can do the grafting with the same piece of yarn. I'm just gonna pull this through.